everybody. You know me and technology, so it always takes me a few minutes to make sure that things are the way they're supposed to be. But while the candle man is busy making candles, I thought I'd make the best use of some of this time today to have a little chat with you. And as I thought about it, I said, you know what? Maybe I should have a little chat like once a month. Instead of just recording the Tarotscopes and then sticking them out there and having it be edited and all that kind of fun stuff, why don't we just have like a little one-to-one, heart-to-heart once a month? And I will give you your Tarotscopes, but I'll also give you the lowdown on a bunch of other things. And I didn't schedule this, and I didn't tell anybody I was going to be here. So I don't know if anybody's going to show up or not, but the show will still be up as Lisa's Chat and Tarotscopes, and you can catch it later if you don't show up now. So I just wanted to say that I feel like many times social media and, you know, having that little cell phone in your pocket is supposed to be such a great social device. And it's kind of antisocial. I'm sure we've all walked into a restaurant or gone somewhere with a crowd of people that were supposed to be maybe a party together or, you know, keeping company. And instead everybody's, you know, focused on their phone. I remember a friend of mine, contemporary, who had gone to her granddaughter's Christmas concert. And everybody was waiting to be seated. And a gentleman came over to her and said, "I take it you're a grandparent as well." And when they looked around, all of the younger people, the parents, were all staring at their cell phones. And, you know, I just want to be able to have community. We have a wonderful community at the shop. You know, we've got maybe 30 people or so who regularly come to circle and participate in classes and things like that. But I also wanted to try to include people who are feeling socially isolated and give them a little bit more of a chance to be part of a tribe. We know we have our Magical Monday podcast, and Anton and I go on for about an hour and we talk about different astrological things and current events, and we do readings for people on Magical Mondays who are part of our YouTube membership. But I just wanted to, I don't know, just have a chat today and then give you guys your Tarotscopes for January, because the astrology is just crazy interesting. And we are going to go through a process over the next few months of updating our database. So I may call you on the phone, hopefully I have the right phone number, and update your snail mail and your email, and make sure if you want to that you're signed up for karma points, because you can use them online as well. You don't have to just do in-store purchases to use your karma points. And, you know, way back when I first opened, up until around 1995, so from 93 to like 96, I guess it was, we hand wrote envelopes for our newsletter. So this is before the big wave of computers and blogs and all that kind of stuff. We had a little monthly newsletter, which was a trifold that fit into an envelope. And it would tell you who was reading on what days for the month and what classes we had, and you know, what gatherings there were, if there were circles and things like that. And then I think at the time Margot was writing Humorscopes, which were really funny things about the 12 zodiac signs, and she would align them with things like ice cream or the Muppets, things like that. And after Margot stopped doing that, Lori wrote a humor column as well, and it was really cool. So, and we hand wrote the envelopes. And then it got to be around 500 a month. So we were making copies on a Xerox copy machine, hand folding them, stuffing the mailer, and sending them out and handwriting the envelopes. So Guy will relate to that because he was one of the people who would always be there for handwriting the envelopes. Then we kind of graduated up to starting to email people. And we currently have over 10,000 people on our database. But I'm really not sure that any of them open our email. You know, we do have email tracker, but a lot of times it seems like it just goes to spam, or people still don't have any idea what's going on, and people don't answer back or respond in any way. And you think, you know, oh my goodness, there's so much really good information that we're sending out in these emails and nobody's getting them. So again, it's kind of like a social thing that's supposed to help you keep in touch, that certainly just distance you, right? I'm sure people would have much rather gotten a letter in the mail with the little trifold, but that's not practical for this number of people, and the cost of a letter is ridiculous. If you were going to send 5,000 letters at 60 cents, you know, that's a chunk of change. So over the next few months, we're going to start calling people and verifying their information. And one of the main reasons I'm going to do that is we don't know what's going to happen this year. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on that may interrupt communication, and it may interrupt our ability to electronically just boop onto Facebook and say what we're going to say. So I want a way for people to be able to stay in touch. The people who really want to come in, you know, maybe it's the same few hundred people that visit every month, but at least they'd have an idea of what's going on. They'd have a better understanding of what's going on. So Danny and I and Anton, I think, are going to try to make a calendar that people could take with them that will have events on it as well. We do have the trifold in the shop for the church if you want to come in person to the church meetings, you know, to our open circles. So we do have that schedule. And I don't know, I just feel like I want to be closer to community and not further away from community. You know, it used to be that you had way better customer interaction as well. You know, if somebody new came in, they'd give you the credit card to you, and you would look and you'd be like, oh, that's really cool. Thanks for coming in, Robert. You'd see their name. And then the next time they came in, you could be like, hey, Robert, did you enjoy that book on numerology that you bought last month? And you could be connected and personable. But now, you know, you tell the person the amount, blip, you don't know their name, you know, there's no real personal interaction. And we're that kind of place that wants to build that sense of community, that sense of belonging for people. You know, it's a fun little kind of occult place where you can ask questions and share secrets and be part of something. So we want a better way to contact people that may not necessarily involve the computer, though I will be taking the information on the computer. But you know, it's nicer if people know your name, you know? All right. So the things I wanted to also talk about a little bit more were this crazy energy for 2025. So people who watched Magical Monday have already heard me say that 2025 reduces to a 9. So 9 is the theme for 2025. Happy New Year. I see Sean has come. There's Gilda. Hi, Gilda. Hi, Sean. So 2025 equals 9. And 9 is completion, a cycle, completing a cycle. And when we look at this year, there's some really interesting things that also seem to be completing a cycle. So I just wanted to show you our Hermit card. I don't know if you can see that really well, but this is from the tarot deck that Anton and I are working on, and you can see that he's holding a staff that resembles a snake. So it's the magician's belt that has now become this staff for the hermit. And our hermit is a little bit different. He's got a Merkaba as the light of his lantern, the light of the soul. We've just kind of worked with what Pamela had and tried to extract a little more from there. So 9 is the theme of this year. Hi, Jess. So 9 being the hermit kind of tells us that within this cycle of completion, there's going to be enlightenment for the soul, right? That hermit card, you know, we always say the hermit's eyes are closed. He's not lighting the way for himself. He's offering the light for others to find their way. So even though we're facing all these things that we're facing, we have that hermit's guiding light, that light of the soul, that lantern, to kind of follow and receive some clarity. The other card that equals a 9 is the moon, and that on the moon card you can see that the moon is going through a lot of phases. You know, it looks like a new moon, a full moon, it could be a sun that's up there, and there's that pathway between the towers telling us, you know, this is the journey you need to make. Also, I pointed out on Magical Monday that this new moon that we just had in Capricorn, and the new moon that we'll have in Aquarius, and the new moon that we'll have in Pisces, and the new moon that we'll have in Aries are all going to be at 9 degrees. So that's very interesting about completing cycles. You know, that magic of 9, it's a very magical number. And I think that we'll see this theme of death and rebirth, or wiping the slate clean and starting over, completing something we were working so hard at, and being given the energy to step forward to accept the work, to accept the completion of that work and the next step. So 2025 is very much about, we have worked really hard. We have completed this part of the journey. You know, we've paid our dues, and now we want, instead of to keep going and going like the snake on the magician's belt and repeating, we want that energy of completion. We want the respect and the wisdom that goes with that staff, right? And then when we think about the cycles in the Chinese zodiac, the new moon starts the next year in the Chinese zodiac. And the year that's coming, the lunation that will start the lunar year in the Chinese zodiac, is going to be the year of the wood snake. So again, I'd like you to have a little look at this picture. You can, although it's clary. The wood snake. The snake as the staff of the hermit. And what do snakes do when they grow? They shed their skin. They let go of that old energy, and they are kind of given a rebirth, and they come out and they've transformed. So we're going to have that energy of transformation coming along with another very ancient system of astrology. Chinese zodiac work goes back like 5,000 years. So again, a tried and true system. So I think that the year of the snake, transformation, I think that 2025 being a 9, connecting us again to that energy of completion. I think there's a lot of having to be open-minded and think about new ways of doing things, because this energy is going to kind of say, the old buttons don't work. You have to figure out a way to reach the new buttons. You can't press the old buttons. They're not going to work anymore. But sometimes that growth has a little bit of growing pains, like when they update your computer and then nothing works the way it did before and you have to try to figure out all the new things. I think it's going to be a little bit like that, navigating at least 2025 anyway. I think that we're in for a big section of transformation, and I think that we won't really be truly into a more comfortable space with our growth period until like 2027. Sorry. But there's some really interesting things that are happening with the outer planets that are also offering this completion energy, or this finishing of a gestation period and a new birth. Now, you've heard me talk about Pluto and the age of Aquarius, and that's really what we are in now, working towards being comfortable with that. I don't mean to bore the people that are always around for Magical Monday, but I've said before that when we look at 1960 to 2020, that would be like 11:59 to midnight. So you could think about how you felt last night if you were up. That 11:59 to midnight, you were kind of into that. You were kind of into the new year, but you weren't quite there yet till the clock ticked, right? So we could see 1960 to 2020 as that tick, that last tick on the clock. And 2020 to 2080 as the next tick on the clock. So after 2080, we will be firmly enjoying the true age of Aquarius. And an age, or an aeon, is a little over 2,000 years. So of course, 1 year or 1 minute, 1 tick, wouldn't quite transform that entire aeon. But there's some other interesting things to really think about. Things that are signifying or alerting us, telling us that we are moving from the old to the new. Cycles that are coming to completions and restarts. So the biggie here is Pluto. Pluto has moved from Capricorn and it is now in Aquarius, and it's going to stay in Aquarius till 2044. So Pluto wants to transform all the things that have to do with Aquarius. Now, sometimes we don't really think of it as change being positive, but change can very much be a positive thing once we embrace it, right? If somebody says, you have to change jobs, or you have to move, or, we're breaking up, whatever it is, those big life shift changes sometimes can be pretty, hard to take. But when we figure out how to handle that change and how we're going to reconstruct, many, many times things work out much better. We love the new job much better than the old position that we had. We love our new place to live. It's much more comfortable and convenient than the old place we were living. Or we really enjoy our freedom and we don't have the oppression of a bad relationship that maybe we would have never made the change. So these changes that happen that are beyond our control, that we have to understand and work with, many times work out way better than we thought when they first came up. So Pluto has been transforming Capricorn energy, which is like merchant banking, global banking, finance, corporations, all this kind of stuff was what we saw, through the early, like 2008 through to last year. And now we're going to see Pluto working with humanitarian, electronics, aviation, right? All the things that Aquarius takes care of. Aquarius rules really interesting things like X-ray. But what does X-ray give us the ability to do? It gives us the ability to see beyond or see through things. Aquarius rules computers, and we're going to see AI and a ton of stuff going on there. Aquarius rules air travel, and we're going to see, I think, big changes with travel by air. And Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian. So let's hope that things that seem to be breaking down now and really not working in a humanitarian way start to transform. And, sometimes people really don't want to let go of how things were working and embrace a new way of them working. But I do think we're going to see less focus on money and corporate greed and more focus on community and barter, and just like a growing of connection to people and connection to each other. And that's what I would really love to see. Again, I'm old school, where I want to know the names of the people who come in the shop, and I want to be of service to the old gods and see if I can help people understand what's happening with them. That's why I write the Tarotscopes anyway, to try to help people along. But I did make some other notes of some really interesting things that are setting a precedent for, again, this big shift of moving into the age of Aquarius. So there's something called a grand conjunction between Jupiter, the planet of expansion, the great benefactor, and Saturn, the planet of karmic energy, lessons, and time itself. So every 20 years they come together, and it's called a grand conjunction. And they work through the elements in 200-year segments, right? So for 200 years, every 20 years, when they have this grand conjunction, it will be in the same element. So in May of 2000, we had the grand conjunction in Taurus, and that was the last time it came together in Earth. So the next time the grand conjunction is to happen, it's going to happen in an air sign. So if we think it was 200 years in Earth, and 200 years in water, and 200 years in fire, then this coming together in an air sign is the first time that's happened for 600 years. So of course, on the solstice in December 2020, the grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn happened in the sign of Aquarius, right? Here's another marker. Age of Aquarius, humanitarian age, focusing on the people. And that was right around the time when COVID was becoming quite serious. And when we moved into the spring, March had lockdowns, and there was a great focus on the people trying to save people and figure out how we're going to feed people and supply chains and all that kind of stuff. And again, these are all that energy of Jupiter, the great expander, and Saturn, the lesson taskmaster, kind of saying, okay, how are you going to navigate this? How are you going to make sure people are okay? So that's an important marker. Then now for the next 200 years, these grand conjunctions are going to be in air signs. Okay. We can keep going, but it's fascinating when you start looking at the details. So I'm just going to say, if there are 15 people viewing, I only have 4 likes. So if you could please hit the like button, that would be fantastic. The other thing I want to talk about for this year of the snake and the shedding of the skin is Saturn coming together with Neptune. So this happens way less frequently. Saturn and Neptune come together once every 35 to 38 years. Obviously, they're each on a different cycle, so for them to come to the same spot, it takes, a cycle of years. So Saturn and Neptune. Now, Neptune is the wise one. Neptune promotes creativity, deep thinking, sacrifice and duty. But Neptune can also work to focus people on what restricts them. And Neptune rules Pisces and that 12th house that says, self-incarceration, or what we would know as like the exalted prisoner. You're only a prisoner of whatever it is you're thinking if you continue to think that, right? So here comes Saturn to teach some lessons and awaken us to some karma. And it's going to come together with Neptune, who wants us to be creative, who wants us to know who we are, who wants us to come out of our shell. So we have this great opportunity. But I want you to listen to some of the interesting things that were going on globally, right? As above, so below. These few times that we have written history about for the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune. So Saturn and Neptune came together in 1917. There was World War I and the Russian Revolution. And when they came together this time, it was in the sign of Cancer. So again, Cancer is that focus on the home. And, many times we heard Russia referred to as Mother Russia. So it's really interesting to see that in 1917, during the Russian Revolution and World War I, Saturn and Neptune were conjunct, came together in the sign of Cancer. Now, the next time they came together was in 1952, and they came together in the sign of Virgo. And Virgo rules the house of health and service to others, like our work, our job, what we do for a living. And in 1952, they had the Great Smog in London, and many people became ill because the air was so full of, things that didn't belong in the air for you to breathe, pollutions. It's also interesting to note that in 1952, the House of Health and Service to Others, when Saturn and Neptune came together, we got a polio vaccine. Also, we should note that Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin were both born in 1952. Then we come along to see the next time that Saturn and Neptune come together, and we have them in Capricorn in 1990. And when they came together in 1990, there were again transformations, and the Berlin Wall came down. Also, though, that time they came together, Uranus was within 6 degrees. So as astrologers, we talk about conjunctions usually with a 3-degree difference or orb. But when we're talking about the outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, and Saturn could be considered an outer planet, we would allow a larger degree to call it a conjunction. So Uranus was within 6 degrees of that conjunction. So it was giving that little bit of chaos, panic, and disorder. So when the Berlin Wall came down, there were a lot of things going on globally connected to that, and the different countries that played a role moving forward with that sort of thing. So now, guess what? We're already starting to feel the coming together of Saturn and Neptune. So Saturn is going to be leaving Pisces. People who are going to be relieved that have finished their Saturn returns. Saturn's going to be leaving Pisces and moving into Aries. Aries is the planet Aries is the sign of pioneering, big changes, wanting to be first, right? Aries says, I can plant the seed. Aries is ruled by Mars, so it can be very feisty and bring courage and endurance and drive. So Saturn, karma lessons, is going to move into Aries. And it's going to meet up with Neptune in Aries. And Neptune will be finishing its tour of Pisces, which is its home sign, right? And I said Neptune rules Pisces. So there's another cycle completion, and both of these are cycle completions because the zodiac is Aries through Pisces. So Pisces is ending, hosting Saturn and Neptune, and they're going to move into Aries. They're going to come together. And that's going to happen in February of 2026. But again, because they're outer planets, they're still very close now, and we could look at their orb and say, they're kind of already in this configuration. So when Saturn and Neptune come together in Aries, I think there's going to be another real interesting kind of pioneering thing that has to do with the age of Aquarius coming together in this new cycle of the millennia, the new cycle of Pluto, and we know that Uranus is going to be finally getting off Al Ghul and moving on into Gemini. So some of these big shifts will be into air and fire, and we know air fuels the fire. So there's going to be things happening very quickly. We're going to have to be open-minded. We're going to have to figure out very quickly how we can adapt and improvise and come through these changes. And again, it is not one moment in time. I've been barking about it all last year, and now I'm going to be kind of reminding people as these transitions happen over the next few years. But big shifts into air and fire. The energy of air and fire is very different than water and earth. So we're shifting out of the water and earth era into the fire and air. We can see that grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn that happened in the end of 2020 will set off a 200-year air sets of conjunctions, and we see Saturn and Neptune coming together in Aries. Let's see who else I've got here. Okay, Happy New Year, Pat, and Happy New Year, Susan. So again, please smash that like button. And just to recap, I'm going to probably do one of these once a month with the Tarotscopes. So I think I probably should get on with the Tarotscopes now. I have them here. Got lots of notes on the desk here to share with you guys. So, oh, what's going on here? Here they are. I was like, I pulled the cards already. So I got this really cool little handy dandy thing here from Danny for Yule. Look at that. So it stands the card up. So this is the Tarotscopes for January 2025. So Aries. Now, you Aries people, or people with Aries on the horizon, what's coming up, might want to pay attention. So Aries card for the month of January is the Sun. And the scope, based on planetary stuff, says, to thy own self be true. Pay close attention to your inner guide. Really decide what you need and what you want before you make any offers. Don't let someone else push you into commitments that you will later regret. Where work is concerned, try to think more about the job at hand than the payoff, right? So the card for Aries for January is the Sun. And to do Tarotscopes, I take a look at where the planets are for that month, and then work that energy individually by sign, the planetary energy, and then offer a card. Old Dog New Trails. Hey, Cole. Happy New Year. Cool. All right. So next up is the card for Taurus. So we have the Knight of Cups. So Taurus says more messages of things to come are being opened up to you to focus on. With any luck, you can really make some strides this month if you process. Plan for that rush of energy. You may feel pushed. Taurus doesn't like to go quickly, but it's okay. Listen and let the signals being given be heard. Your path will be clear. Make a plan and understand that things are very accelerated. The card for Gemini. Oh, people. So these are Gemini, Gemini rising, if you know your rising sign, the Tower. I know in the past that these past few months have felt like you were underneath a dark cloud, like there was something looming. But this month will bring lots of light, helping you to recognize your true potential. Make the best of the intense energies. You're going to grow leaps and bounds, Gemini. There's a real chance here to break an old pattern. It's not easy, and you're going to need all your steam, but you can make that difference. You can make that change. Okay, Cancer, Cancer rising, the Star. You may be facing a major decision or a big life change that will affect you for some time to come. Do your best to fight off any unsettling feelings. You are pivoting on a huge achievement. Remember, a lot of your future is riding on the choice that you make this month, but no pressure. Try to do the un-Cancerian thing and think of yourself first, because you're the one who's going to live with the outcome of this change and this choice. Hi, Anna. Happy 2025. Leo and Leo risings get the Empress. You may be feeling a bit pushed from within towards finding harmony, an overwhelming need to organize all aspects of your life. This time of year, as we get closer to Imbolc, could bring that time of joyous realizations, spring cleaning. You find yourself getting a handle on things. Hi, Lori. Getting a handle on things, even though this requires a bit of work. Leo, if you complete this big project, you will get a big payoff. Remember, though, to be grateful and hold on to the feeling that you have when you're on top of things. It will give you that energy that you need for the coming months. Now, Virgo, I forgot this. Virgo also got the Tower. So both my Mercury ruled signs got the Tower. Okay, Virgo, time to invent a new you in order to break free and move forward. Things may be happening that seem out of your control, and that really sucks for you because you love to pay attention to detail. Listen, it's okay. They're happening for a reason, but maybe the reason just isn't clear to you just yet, no matter how much you try to analyze things. When the time comes, it will make sense, and you'll be ready. There's messages coming, so stick to your goals and be ready to break free. Libra, the Devil. Stand back a little to get a better look at the whole picture, right? If you're going, I can't see the forest, I only see this tree. Step back. Try to keep yourself free from other people's negativity. Don't get caught up in their stuff. Hi, Doris Jean. Happy New Year. Try not to get caught up in their stuff. Just because you want harmony and peace doesn't mean you have to deal with them. The best advice is to kind of lay low for a bit. Wait it out. Try to get all the facts. It's okay to smell the roses. Just be aware of their thorns. Scorpio, Queen of Cups. Oh, she doesn't want to go in there. Scorpio, Queen of Cups. Spring is coming, and it's bringing the signs of cleansings. I should say that in the Wheel of the Year, we consider the first day of spring to be Imbolc, which is February 1st, or 15 degrees Aquarius if you really want to get into it. So that's going to be more about 8 degrees. The 8th of February, 15 degrees Aquarius. Anyway, Scorpio, Queen of Cups, Spring brings signs of cleansing, especially where career is concerned. Emotions and relationships can also be a focus. The Queen of Cups asks you to be open to the flow of energy that you're receiving. If you can get some time off, you could really use it to plan for the months ahead. Try not to overreact, and remember how powerful water is. So are you. Okay, that's Scorpio. Did I say that was Scorpio? I hope so. That's the only problem with live. Hi there, Happy New Year, Savannah. You don't get a retake. Sagittarius, the Knight of Swords. How interesting, Sag, that you would get this card of movement, right? This guy is not just hanging out. He's charging. This month should bring a real sense of improvement. You're going to see that push of energy from the trining energy of Mars. And there's growth on the business front. Things that you haven't thought about in a few months are going to start coming up. And it can help you to trust your judgment and feel more secure with the changes. I have no idea what's going on. It sounds like a doorbell. All right. Capricorn. Capricorn, the moon. All right. Capricorn, the moon. This month help you to bring ideas into form, realizing that these ideas can become realities. This should prove to be a month of improvements for you, and you may be a little more open than usual and able to be there for others emotionally. Enjoy your newfound freedom and freedom of expression. We all know how hard it is for you to let people in. All right. Aquarius, the Eight of Cups. This month is a time to shed the old and grow the new. As you well know, things that are worth having or achieving don't usually come easily. The past few months have certainly shown you this, but chin up. Things are getting better, Aquarius. And the friends that are left after all of that fallout are really your true friends. Okay. And next we have Pisces, the Page of Cups. You find yourself as counsel to a lot of people this month. Well, it's good that you're good at counsel, dear Pisces. Try to stay neutral, though, if you're caught in the middle. Some of the situations could be quite deep and difficult to navigate. Towards the end of January, you will find the answers and really good solutions. And remember to protect yourself when counseling others. Those involved probably need a lot of hugs, so go into it with open arms. All right, so that's what I've got for Tarotscopes. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was January's calendar of events. So you guys know that we have Magical Mondays podcast on Monday, astrology classes, 3 cups court cards. Oh, well, I just pick them. I don't know how they come out. Astrology classes are starting on the 9th. So if this is something you want to learn how to do, how to speak that language, we still have a few seats left. There are quite a few people who are tuned in that have taken the class before, and I saw them chiming in on Facebook event and saying, you know, you won't regret this. This is a good class. So we start out not even knowing what the symbol looks like and learning why they look the way they do. And we just go through everything from beginners, and we build and build and build until we get to the 12th class, where we can write horoscopes. And then if you're already versed in the tarot, you should be able to write a tarotscope. But I'm not promising that. We have our ongoing tarot class. We have our ongoing Craft of the Wise classes. We have 2 circles. On the 10th, we have the Cancer Birch full moon. And on the 31st, we have Imbolc or Gualmer. Then we also have Psychic Fair the last Saturday of every month. So this month that is January 25th from 12 to 5. Readings are $10 for 10 minutes. And again, they're in person only, but we do have readers every day, and we do phone readings. So if you live far away, you can get a phone reading. We also have some Zoom readings available for people who want to be able to be face-to-face with the reader. And I am also offering what I'm calling Tarotscopes for the year. So what we're doing is pulling 12 cards, like people who do zodiac or astrological tarot readings, kind of saying like, here's the 12 months ahead, or some of them look at them being placed in 12 houses and they would do like a monthly reading. But we're going to pull 1 card for each month, and then I've printed the charts for every month, and I can look and say, this planet will be in your chart in your blueprint in this house, right? So I've listed things like the Mercury retrogrades, and I can tell you where in your natal chart they're taking place and what that might help you do or what that might deter you from doing. So we'll look at all of what's going on with the planets each month and how it is personal to you. So I will need your birth information and print your natal chart. So I'll say, okay, we have this tarot card and we have these planetary configurations, and this is what this month is going to look like. And then we move to February. This is this card and we have these planetary configurations, and for you, this is what this is going to look like. So I'm calling them Tarotscopes. It's basically a tarot reading and a year's transits. So I'm calling them Tarotscopes for a year. They are an hour appointment, and you can book them in person or on Zoom because it is quite a visual thing. I don't really want to try to do phone readings unless you had your chart printed out in front of you and knew what you were looking at. I like to be able to point it out and show you what's going on. I've done quite a few of those already, and I have quite a few booked. I'm really looking forward to doing that. The other thing I'd like you to be reminded of is we do have something called Candle Club. And what happens is we do 3 special pours that go along with that month, and then you get to pick your others. So we have, wood snake. Isn't that cool? Candleman's making over 30 candles in 3 days. 30 times 20 votives. But he made these beautiful, I know you can't smell them, but they're gorgeous. Wood snake for the new Chinese New Year. We have Age of Aquarius, because I think we could all use some energy to navigate what's happening. And Peace on Earth. I know that we've done this a few times, but I think it's something that, again, is really needed right now. You've heard me talk about April to July and how that energy is. So candles are $3.75 a piece. Buy 10, get the 11th free. So if you just came in and got your 11 candles, that would be $37.50. But if you join the Candle Club, you get 3 that we choose that are needed for that month's energy. You pick 8. So the 11 candles are only $25 on Candle Club. You'll save $12.50. So if you're somebody that knows you're going to buy 11 candles a month, you might as well join the Candle Club, because you're going to save quite a lot of money, especially over a year's time. It's like $150 you save for the year. If you're somebody like me, you burn a candle pretty much every day, you could easily go through 11 votives in a month. We also have a subscription called Witchy Wonders. That's $25 a month, where we pick out really cool things and explain how to do them. Sometimes it's a divination thing, maybe some kind of divination you've never seen before. You remember the one I really thought was so cool was the feng shui grid with coins and a little Kuan Yin to kind of empower different sections of your home. So all kinds of different things are in Witchy Wonders. We have the Magical Year, where we do 12 new moons, 12 full moons, and 8 Sabbats, and you can design your kits however you want. Those are the kits we offer, 12, 12, and 8. So you could just have new moons if you want to just every month set an intention. You could just do full moons if you only like to work under the full moon. You could just do the Sabbats if you want to honor the Wheel of the Year, or you can have any combination. You can do like full moons and new moons, and or full moons and Sabbats, whatever you want to do. There's different pricing. But this way you build a book of shadows, and we explain the Ogham of the lunation for that new moon, and the zodiac rulership. Like I was just saying, the circle that's coming is the Birch Cancer full moon. So your kit would have something, a magical working to do for that full moon. That was a combination of those energies that are available. And we also have Crystal Club. So each month you get a little box with crystals, and it explains what's in there. So if you don't live nearby and you want to be part of the community, you can join up for Magical Year and do magical working along with what we're doing at the CEC. You could get Witchy Wonders if you're not necessarily Wiccan, but you want to learn esoteric and occult things. You can get Crystal Club if you want to expand your knowledge about crystals and how they work and what different ones do. Or you can just get on the Candle Club and save yourself some money and have some great light. All right, so gosh, I've been on for a very long time. This was quite a live. So I'm not guaranteeing that every month the live is going to be an hour, but I am going to try to come on near the first of the month, have like this little kind of astrological fireside chat, talk about what's happening, and talk about the energy that's available, what's going on astrologically, and give you your lowdown, your Tarotscope. So what I'm going to say to you is happy 2025. Think spring, right? We're only about 5 more weeks till Gualmer, maybe 6 at the most, and we can start to think about spring cleaning, out with the old, in with the new, the year of the wood snake, shedding our skin and growing, that energy moving out of Capricorn where we felt very grounded and held. Capricorn is the senior or old expression of Saturn, where Saturn also rules Aquarius, but that is the innovative, new face of Saturn. So we're moving Pluto is moving from that Capricorn energy that we've been stuck in for a decade into Aquarius for the next 2 decades, right? Big changes, big shifts. Air and fire move a lot quicker than earth and water. Yes, you can use water to grow things in the earth, but if you don't move, it gets very stagnant. Fire and air, if you thought 2024 went quickly, right? We said, oh my God, it's 2024. Oh, look, it's summer. Oh, look, it's 2025. What a wild roller coaster ride we're going to have, 2025. High highs, low lows. And again, I'm going to close where I began by saying it's so important to be part of a community. Allow yourself to be social, right? Your phone, Facebook, social media isn't necessarily socializing. Plan things, talk to people, learn from each other, visit, go have a cup of tea. Oh, super chat. Goodness. Well, thank you, Anton. All right. Goodness sakes. Thank you all so very much. Brace yourselves. Everybody's got to be ready. Strange things are happening. Things that we have not seen in our lifetime. Anyway. So be blessed. Be ready. And I'll see you next time on Magical Monday. Peace. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all for coming. I know it was unexpected, but I'll give you a little more advance warning next month. Thank you. Blessed be.